Last week at a local Italian restaurant, I had the most wonderful pasta. It was a combination of short pasta, so just shells like this, with mussels and chickpeas. And I found that quite surprising. The chickpeas really made this quite special because it's not only throughout the dish, but it's also blended to become this really creamy sauce. So let's get our mussels on. I've got gorgeous fresh mussels here. These ones are from Port Arlington. They're blue-lipped mussels, and you can see that they're blue-lipped because they do have that little blue tinge to them. I've de-bearded them and I've cleaned them and they're ready to be cooked. So I've just been preheating a pot. You want it to be quite hot. A small splash of extra virgin olive oil, and I'll also add some to a pan because we're going to need that pan for our garlic and chilli. So it is definitely an olive oil style sauce. And then in with our mussels. So it's hot and it's all about flash frying them and opening them as fast as possible. We're not adding any flavour to the mussels at this stage. So in they go. And lid on. And we're just going to cook them until they open. Give them a bit of a shake and they'll take just moments to start opening up. You don't want to overcook them because we're going to reheat them again in the sauce. So this oil, we're just gently warming it up and we'll add some garlic. That's a large clove of garlic. We want to thinly slice this. I don't want it finely chopped. I want some texture in this. So 1 clove along with 1 long red chilli. And we want about half of this chilli. A few seeds is okay. And then into the oil to flavour the oil. So you can see it's not frying a lot. It's just on that gentle heat because we don't want it to burn whatsoever. Okay, while that's sizzling away, I'll add some semi-sun-dried tomatoes. They're plump, they're sweet. I prefer these than sun-dried tomatoes because they're a little tougher and they can also go in. Now to give this a bit of an extra savoury flavour, I love the addition of some anchovies, some really good quality anchovies. We want about 2. Take them out of the oil, 2 or 3. And you don't need to cut these quite thin, just roughly. They will melt eventually throughout the olive oil sauce. So pop them in. Use your fork to mash the anchovies and then start stirring that. And right there is like the ultimate flavour. Even just that with pasta is so delicious. But it's going to be even better with our mussels and our chickpeas. So in with our chickpeas, 1 can of chickpeas. I've drained them from the water and given them a really good wash. Give that a toss and we'll cook that down for about 4 to 5 minutes. In the meantime, let's have a look at these mussels. I'll open this up. Oh, they're just perfect. See how they've just opened? They're ready to go. So I'm just going to let them cool down slightly. Then I'm going to take the meat out of the shells and also all of that liquid there we're going to use just to flavour our sauce too. Nothing's going to waste here. Okay, the pasta's on, so it's going to take no time at all to cook. You can see that this is cooked down slightly, it's softened, it smells fantastic, and our mussels have been prepped. So I'm going to add a combination of pasta water as the pasta is cooking. So just a few tablespoons of that starchy water, along with some of the mussel juices. This is essentially mussel stock, so a little splash of that. And that's going to be quite salty, so I've got to be careful with the amount of salt I add to this. And then what I'm going to do is take a few spoonfuls of this chickpea mixture, including some of the chilli there. Now, what I like to do is just blitz this until we have a puree. So just with a stick blender. So I'll add this to our pan, straight back in, and also our mussels that we've carefully picked the meat out of. You do want to leave that to the last minute because we don't want to overcook them. I also like to add some parsley stalk and leaves. So we'll start with the stalk. There's so much flavour in the parsley stalks, so just finely chop that. We want about a teaspoon worth, and we'll pop that in. And our pasta is cooked Of course, our pasta is al dente, so just to the bite. You don't want it to be overcooked. It really does make a difference. And I love these little shells. And just allow some of that liquid to also go into our sauce, because that's going to just help emulsify the whole thing together. Strain that last little bit. We'll turn that really low. I'll also add some more extra virgin olive oil. This is just going to help it glisten. And we'll also pick in some of our parsley leaves. So I don't want to chop this. I just want the leaves to be torn in. And now for the fun part, which is tossing everything together. So if it's looking just slightly dry, you just have to add a little bit more of that starchy water. But for me, that is spot on. To serve this, let's add a generous amount to a bowl. I'm not adding any pecorino, any parmesan, which is very unusual for me, but it doesn't need it. This is a real seafoody kind of dish. To finish it off, maybe just a small drizzle of extra virgin olive oil and nothing else required. Chickpeas and mussels in a pasta dish like this, they go hand in hand.